other continuous, because we have a method not allowed. That means I will here method not allowed. This is actually 405. That is 405. 405. That is 405. Suppose if I mentioned anything in between, that means between 404 and 405, I mentioned anything in between. Suppose I said timeout, and I configured. Now the question is, what will be the value for this? This is what we call as ambient enums. So console.log, I am defining error code. So suppose I define console.log timeout is equal to, I want to get error code dot timeout. I'm accessing the timeout, and I will access console.log. So here I defined not allowed. So is equal to dollar. So error code dot method not allowed. We are configuring that. Okay. Now I will run this. Now we have a non-initializer in between, because already values are initialized. So the next value and the previous value, between these two, one value is configured. So now it has to be an ambient enum. Then you can see that it is also considered as 4051. That means this is also considered as 405, and it will not affect by overriding the next value to 406. So it will keep that value, but it will be initialized with this 405. That means when you are defining constants, so and when you are configuring the values, and when you are initializing the values, if the initializer falls between a sequential order and it needs a value, obviously it will always go with the previous value only. So due to that, it will not have any conflict with the next value that comes. Next value is initialized with already value, it will continue with that value. So these type of enums between the constants are actually known as ambient. These are known as ambient. So example is ambient. Actually, they doesn't have an initializer, but they fall between the two sequential values. Then automatically, based on previous value only, it will be assigned. Based on the previous value only, it will be assigned. But it is not going to affect the next value. That means in this case, timeout will be 405, and not allowed also will be 405. Right. These type of enums, usually we call them as ambient enums. So generally you will learn about later one more point additionally about them. For that we need to understand about modules also. Then we can know about it. Usually these type of enums will not have any effect on the other initialized values. Based on the previous values only, it will get the value and define the value. That's what generally we call as. Another important point is, while working with enum, one more question asked here is about, so what is enum reverse mapping? What is enum reverse mapping? Actually, enum reverse mapping is just like you remembered we learned array destruction. We discussed about array destruction. It is similar like array destruction, construction and destruction. Reverse mapping is a technique actually. Reverse mapping is a technique. So generally by using this reverse mapping technique, so the names and values can be reversed. The names and values can be reversed for an enum. That means the point here is numeric enum members also get a reverse mapping from enum values from enum names. So I will show you what is that reverse mapping. Technically, what is the reverse mapping? Just like a destruction, construction, like concept here. The point is generally, suppose we declared an enum. So enum, and suppose enum is some demo. Demo is an enum. In the demo enum, we declared a value, configured a value. Okay, and I am declaring a variable is equal to enum. So we have enum, that is demo dot a. We are assigning that value. Usually a value is how much it will be. A value will be console.log. So a is equal to. So here we defined a is equal to dollar. So the value of a. Usually the value that it will be by default initialized with 0 in the enum, then it will be 0 on. So the reverse mapping technique allows to store the name of enum, based on its value. That means once you got the value, you can collect the name of that particular enum. That means reverse mapping, it is a technique. Use it to access the name of enum, the enum constant, the name of enum constant based on its value. If I got a value from enum, I can even get the name of that value. That means what is the name of that 0 value? I can get the name of that value by using reverse mapping technique. Reverse map. Of enum, reverse mapping technique of enum is nothing but it is a technique used to access the name of enum constant based on its value. That means the value